How you guys doing? I am Chad with CD Shaving. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today we're doing a little bit of a different video. We're doing an instructional video. I was asked quite a bit over the last couple of months about some different tips and stuff that I had about shaving my head. So I figured I would do a full head shave, and rather than going talking about soaps or how to bloom or what works best, we're just going to do the shaving techniques and talk about what works for me. So maybe you can take this template and apply it to your head shaves, for those of you that do that. So anyway, let's get right into it. For the national holiday of the day, today is National Bratwurst Day, ladies and gentlemen. Bratwurst are fantastic. If you've never had them, get you some of those. Grill them up. Peppers, onions, on the biggest, fattest, most carb-loaded roll you can find. Perfect. Probably the world's most perfect foods. Anyway, give it a shot. So let's talk about the gear. This, like I said, this is not really about the gear, but so you guys know what we're going to be using for the mowing of the head today. We're going to be using the German 37 Slant Bar by RazoRock. As you can see, it is not loaded with a blade. They've yet to put in the rainbow right there. We're using a Rainbow Super Stainless. For the brush, we're going to be using the Omega Synthetic with the Beechwood handle. Soap, Executive Man by Sterling. I also have Executive Man's Aftershave. Even though it is a head shave, we still do the same treatments that we would normally do for our face. So for the shaving balm, we're going to be going with Nivea Sensitive Cooling. And for the witch hazel, we're going to Thayer's Rose Petal. That'll about do it for the gear. So we're going to go ahead and get this, we're going to get the blade loaded, aligned, the brush loaded, ready to go. We're going to lather up, and then we'll talk about what we're doing with our first pass, which is going to be with the grain. So we'll be right back. Alright, we are back. We got our blade aligned, loaded, ready to go, soaking in the water just to stay warm. Got our brush loaded, ready to go. Head's wet, and we're going to go right into a head lather. So preparation is key when doing a head shave, just like doing it for your face. You're going to want to take a shower or at least do a hot towel treatment on your head. It softens up the whiskers, or in this case, hair follicles. But it's the same idea. Everything is the same in regards to treatment, pre-treatment. You're going to definitely want to take it seriously and do it, because it just makes it easier and makes the end product all that much better. Gives you the DOP status, Dome of Perfection. That's what we're going for today. So we're going to go ahead and make this lather count. I choose to soak my blades and my razors when I'm prepping, because it makes the razor, in my opinion, cut better, because you're not putting cold razor on warm skin, and it kind of takes the shock value out of it. You're like, geez, that's freezing. So, but anyway, you don't have to do that. Again, all of this is very subjective. So I start off with my head shaves doing a with the grain pass, as most of you know who've seen my videos. Those of you that don't, I use a with the grain pass. Anyway, so you want to make sure you got a nice layer. I'm going to assume that you know how to lather, and lather well. You apply the same principles for your face right to your head. And that, as you can see, is nice. It looked like the Insane Clown Posse. So, alright. Now, with the grain, mapping your head is the same way you do with your face. You find out which way the hair grows. Now, on your face, the hair tends to grow, or can grow in all different directions, as some people have. Head, for me, it seems to grow just from the top down for the most part. The sides kind of grow out into the side a little bit, but for with the grain purposes, it's mostly down. So we're going to start with, and since I've already pre-mapped my head a while ago, I know where the hair grows down, and that's what I'm going to do. So first shave is going to be with the grain. You're going to take even strokes, no pressure, Let the razor do the work. Let the razor do the work. If any of you were ever in Cub Scouts or Boy Scouts growing up and you were learning how to cut wood with a saw, same principles. It said, or they said, let the razor do the work or the saw do the work, don't push down. You don't want to do that either. But you do want to hold on to this. You don't want this to be bouncing around, okay? So hold on to this nice and firm, but no pressure. And just go straight down. Don't worry about getting all the hair off in this pass, because it's not going to happen. At least not with me. Now, there are people out there that shave 2 passes with the head. Some even go right against the grain and call it a day. I can't do that. If you can do that, more power to you, please do. Because again, this is very subjective. I want you to take what I'm showing you and use it as a template. Try it. And then you can adjust it and mold it to the way that it works for you. So, this is what I suggest for the ultimate head shave. Again, with the grain all the way down. Now, if you can get yourself a second mirror, you can hold it out here and you can see the back of your head. I don't need that for 2 reasons. One, I've been doing this long enough. I can hear and feel the hair cutting. And 2, my mirror is a trifold, so I can actually take the wings out and see on the sides. I can't do it with the camera here, but all right. So, same thing. Down, down, just like this. See? Nothing to it. If you can, if it'll make it may make things easier for you to learn to shave with both hands. It doesn't always make it easier for me. I can shave with both hands. I'm not as proficient with it. So sometimes I just go with this one. But again, I've been doing this a long time. So, I mean, not terribly long, but long enough for me. You also want to mind moles, bumps, nooks and crannies, just like the muffin, on your head, because if you wipe it open by going over that mole or grabbing that little scar you got from when you were a kid and you took that bicycle off the jump that you probably set a little bit too high. I know I did. I've got a small scar on the side of my head that I got from when I made a zip line out of telephone cord out of my tree house, and it didn't hold me. So anyway, that's stories for another day. So I've got, there you go. As you can see, the first pass is done. So we're going to go ahead and rinse our head off. You don't have to get every single bit of soap off, just enough to rinse off the hair. And then I usually wipe it a little bit with the towel. I mean, I don't go crazy. I want still some residual slickness, and there is. I don't go crazy with wiping all the moisture off, because now we're going to go right into lather number 2. This is going to be pass number 2. This is going to be our first cross grain pass. I do with the grain, 2 cross grain, okay, and against the grain, and then a cleanup pass. 5 passes total. You don't have to do all 5, but it gives you a template from where to work from. Now you may look at this and say, well, I don't really need to do both cross grains because I can get the cross grain by doing just one, and it, you know, and then I can go right into the either the cleanup pass, or I can go right into the against the grain. Great, awesome. That works for you. You'd use the template like I suggested. So, all right, Cross grain. Now, my hair doesn't grow just this way in cross grain. When it does grow, it kind of grows up, kind of this way. So, as cross grain as this is, you'll notice it's kind of at an angle. But I'm taking smooth strokes. I'm stretching the skin to make sure that that blade glides, just like this. Now, those of you that are nervous, you can do this. This is nothing. It's no worse than shaving anything else. Well, alright, maybe not everything else, but your face anyway. Now, as far as gear is concerned, I would suggest when you first do this that you would may want to try using a blade that's somewhat forgiving, just because it being your first time, you don't want to go with, you know, the blade of basically the blade from hell. You wouldn't do that on the first time you shave your face with one of these. Don't do it with your head either. In fact, I think people are more apt to notice a cut on your head than they will on your face. Just been my experience. So again, same side, or the other side, we're going to go same way. Listen to your razor. Your razor, generally, even the quiet ones, will still talk to you, because you're going to hear it cutting that hair. So I suggest maybe the first time you do this, if you like to listen to music when you shave, like I do, don't for the first time. That way you really kind of get you get an ear for it and a feel for it. After a while, you won't just hear it, you'll feel it. There. And what I also suggest you can do, if you notice I'm really using some funky ways to get at certain angles of my head. Practice without the blade. You say to yourself, how am I going to get at this? Sometimes when I sit at work in my desk, I'll kind of reach back and just kind of feel where the hair is, and I'll take my other hand, and I won't pretend I'm shaving by any means, because then you're going to look like an idiot. I just kind of feel around and think to myself, how could I reach that? And that's when you get certain techniques in your head that'll that may, even if they're not what everybody else does, if it works for you. That's what I do with the straight razor. There's some techniques I use with the straight razor that I don't see anybody else do, but it works for me. So I don't use the straight razor on my head. I'm talking face only. So, alright. That one's done. Get most of the water off. Relather. This is cross grain number 2. Cross grain number 2, starting from the middle of the head as best as you can. It doesn't have to be perfect, but this is what I do when I kind of go up at an upward angle, just like this. You can hear it getting that hair. least I can. I don't know if the camera will pick that up. Don't be afraid to move that ear out of the way. You don't want to Da Vinci the shit out of it. Now, make sure that you're going slow. I'm kind of speeding up this process a little bit on this one, just so I can, keep it somewhat short. Not that 20 minutes is short, but we're getting there. There. There we go. Cross grain, 1 and 2, done. And it will probably take you forever to do these at first. It will get faster. It's just like anything else. There's a learning curve. So, if I wasn't talking on camera, I could probably have this done in about 20 minutes. At the most. So now we're going into against the grain. The other thing too is if you have sensitive skin on your face, you want to apply the same principles that you do to your heads. If you don't go against the grain on your face, I would generally not go against the grain on my head. Although I would also say, after saying that, I would also say you may want to try it too when you're ready, because my skin on my head is not nearly as sensitive as the skin on my face. So, but just drag that razor up. Try to keep it as straight as you can. It's going to go in this direction. Go. Now, I don't suggest that you do the long shaves or the long strokes like you can do with your face, because with your head there's a lot more hair. Some people there's a lot more hair. So, generally speaking, and the razor is going to get clogged up faster. So I suggest taking short, deliberate strokes and rinse off quite a bit. At least until you know for sure how everything's going to react. You know, how much, you can see how much hair you actually take off. Now again, I suggest you get yourself a second mirror so you can find how to do this. It makes it a lot easier. You can ditch the mirror once you get good, and you know what you're doing. Until then, get a friggin' mirror. Because if you miss that one spot, too, it looks funny. See, my hair grows, believe it or not, fast. And when I miss a certain spot, you can see it's all DOP status except for that one little Chia Pet spot thing that I friggin' missed. And I'll sit there, I'll catch it throughout the day. Have my hand in the back of my head, I'll feel it, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And I'll know it's there, and it'll drive me nuts until I get home to fix it. So you don't want to do that, because it'll piss you off, believe me. Maybe it won't piss you off, but it pisses me off. So, alright. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on our way to DOP status. Oh, yeah. That's nice. We're going to do a little bit of cleanup pass here. Now, when you do the cleanup pass, all you do is squeeze the leftover lather that's in the brush. You don't need to re-lather your entire head. In fact, I don't suggest that you do, because then when you start feeling around for those spots that you missed, it's going to be hard to do that. You're not going to really catch it, especially where you've done so many passes. So just take it, throw a couple of dollops here and here, and then just kind of feel with your hand. I always miss it here, and what I do, once I find a spot, then I kind of lube it up a little bit with the shaving soap or cream, and you just go back and forth. You can do some buffing. If you've never buffed before, be very careful. You can injure yourself. But it's basically you're going to leave the razor blade in contact with your skin, and you're just going to go back and forth. It's the equivalent to, in my opinion, I heard somebody describe it once, and I think it's perfect. If you're sanding a piece of wood, you're going to town at first, and when you're done, you're just finding all the little imperfections that you just didn't get. And you use a fine grit sandpaper to get the rest of it off there. That's kind of what this is. You're just going to take this and take the blade, and fine tune it. It's not a full pass, or it's not meant to be. It's just supposed to be a couple areas that you might have missed. And for me, it's always on the side of my head right here. You can also do the J hook, like this. You can do this, but you can injure yourself. Just make sure you're very careful. Now, unlike when you do a cleanup pass to your face, you kind of have to switch hands on this, because you really need to get to that. You need to feel around with one hand and shave with the other, and it's not easy to do with the opposite hand. So, take the razor and other hand, and you're going to reach over your head and just kind of feel like this, and then do the same thing, buffing. Now I put way more cream on here than I need to. I kind of just did that to speed it along. And these blades work really awesome too, so I don't have to do as much of a cleanup as I do with a feather blade. Although I like the feather blades, they're a little bit smoother, more smooth. Yeah. Yep. That's awesome. That's I think we're good there. Alright. So now you go ahead and wipe all that shaving cream out of your ear so you don't end up at work with it piled in there and somebody goes, "You got shaving cream in your ear." Thanks. Thank you for pointing that out so everybody can hear it. People have no couth. All right, so yeah, that's good. Now you still want to apply the same cleanup, meaning or post shave. You want to throw some cold water on your head, so you drain the sink, clean out your brush. Take a page out of the Bob Ross book and you're going to beat the dickens out of it. Some of you know exactly what that was referenced to. Others of you are going, what? Don't worry about it. Alright. Brush away. Take some of this cold water that's been running in my sink and throw it on top of my head. This is going to close those pores, just like your face. Now that that's done, take some of the witch hazel, throw that on your head. Now this you don't want to rinse off. It's not like alum. Yeah, that's good. That's smooth. Feels nice. Done with that. Now while that's sitting there, you're going to take your razor. Might as well take it apart. I always do this. I realize not everybody does. I do. Take it apart and get all the crap out of there. You're waiting for that witch hazel to kind of settle in anyway, so what the hell is she going to do? Clean off that. I don't go crazy. I just wash off all the extra, the cream, and clean the individual pieces, and then I dab. I do not wipe. I dab the blade. And then put the blade right back in real loose like, and then I store it. So it's all nice and clean. Base plate. Now, this is a lot longer than I thought it was going to be for a video, but alright, so plate. I get the blade here. I rinse that off. Just dab it. And then you're going to throw everything back together. Just be very careful because everything can be a little bit slick because you just shaved with it. Shouldn't be because you got all the cream off, but you still got the water on there and you know it's still a little damp, so we're going to go ahead and not tighten it. See how that's kind of loose? Now we take that and put it back in our arsenal. Now you should be good to go with putting on. In my opinion, this is what I do first. Other people do the shaving, the aftershave first. I do not. So, put some of this. You don't need much. That's all you need. If it is dry though, say the winter months, and you find out you need more, put more on. That's it. Can't hurt to throw some on your face, even if you haven't shaved your face. So now, while we're waiting for that stuff to sink in, I usually wait a little bit before I throw on the aftershave. Talk about another very important mention. 200 subscribers. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for your patriotism to my channel and watching my videos. Your comments are fantastic. I really enjoy the conversations that I've had. I love doing the live videos. I'm going to hopefully try to do a lot more of those soon coming up. They seem to do really well and people seem to respond to them. So I really like that. But seriously, over 200 subscribers, I never thought I'd even get one. So thank you. Thank you so much. In lieu of that, we're going to be doing a giveaway. Probably within the next couple of weeks. It's not going to be right away. We are going to be doing a giveaway because of that 200 subscriber giveaway. We're going to be giving away something that I think everybody should have in their shave den, in my opinion. So, all right. This has had a couple of minutes to settle in here. I can actually feel it. It's not greasy. You want to wait till it's not like super greasy, and it's not. It's not even, actually it's not even really slick. This is all pretty much absorbed right into there. So, And I didn't put tons of it on there. Take this. Always shake your aftershave. Now, you're going to need, in my opinion, a little bit more than you would on your face because there's more area. Can't hurt, throw it on your face. There. Voila! Top status dome of perfection. Ladies and gentlemen, we are done with the head shave. So that is my take on the head shave. That is how I do it. It is my routine. It works well for me. I seem to get all the areas pretty good, and it's slick. As you can see, there's no irritation, cuts, or bumps. So if you guys have any questions or comments, as always, please put the comments and questions in the comments section below, and I will answer them as soon as I can. And if you have not subscribed, please subscribe. Please subscribe and make sure you knock the bell. Hit that bell, mash it down. That way you get a notification every time we do a new video. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. We'll get that ticker up there. So, thank you very much for joining me. I am Chad with CD Shaving, and we'll see you guys in the next shaving video.